So you had quite the goal celebration there. Can you give us the what was going on?
I was just frustrated, honestly. I was frustrated the whole game. Just didn't find the space, and yeah, they kept brewing and brewing, and I think when I scored, I kind of just let it out. I don't know if it was happiness or frustration. I don't know what it looked like. I'll have to probably look back, but that's what it was.
Is that your first shirt rip off and throw it into the stand celebration of your career, or have you? Is that
Yeah, into the stands for sure the first. As a goal celebration, I don't think so. I think I've done it before, but
Okay.
yeah, and it was also so late in the game. I think if it was a little earlier, I don't think I would do it just in case you can still get a second yellow. But it was kind of late, so I was like, I don't get yellows anyway, so might as well do it that way.
Did you get you got the jersey back though?
Alex got it back, yeah.
Alex,
and
did he
gave
go
it to me.
retrieve it?
Because the guy said that we didn't have another one because I changed at halftime, so they were sweating on the sideline. But I'm happy, that we got it back.
You this when you have that kind of game, like there were definitely two shots there that you could have had, but then your teammates also had some that were at the door. Do you feel like it escaped a little bit with that opportunity to get a penalty kick to get the win?
Yeah, I mean, we had so many chances, and then when I talk about frustration, I think that's more what it is the fact that we couldn't score the first half. I think we created some good chances to score, and that's when the frustration, starts to get higher and higher. And then second half, I had a good chance, and then that went just a few inches wide of the post, and then that doesn't help for sure. And then the game is getting later and later, and it's coming. And we knew we needed 3 points. We if we want to get up in the standings, we have to win the home games. And sometimes it's pretty and we play well and we score multiple goals, and sometimes it's a day like this today where it's a PK, but in a couple of weeks nobody will remember how you won. They'll just look at the result. So as far as result, we're happy. As far as performance, we definitely need to improve.
You now have 25 goals and 25 assists for two different clubs. Did you know about that possibility coming in, and how do you feel about that type of record?
After the Portland game, our media guys told me that I'm one goal away from that. But that wasn't on my mind, I mean, it's not like I'm playing one more game and then I'm done. So, I know that was gonna come whenever, and there was no kind of, pressure in terms of to get that. I don't really, I always say I don't really care about records and all that. Just trying to win games, and today wasn't the prettiest one, but yeah, we're just happy with the points. I think that's one of the few positives.
Last year you didn't lose a bunch of home games, but you tied a lot. This year you've been able to push a lot more across the line. I mean, was this the kind of game that felt like last year would have just ended 0-0?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, that frustration, that's what we're talking about. Many games last year we tied at home. We played well, we created chances, couldn't score, and I think that's what separates the good teams from the great teams. Even when you don't play well, you gotta have to find a way to win a game. And today was a penalty kick. Another day it might be a set piece, and another day it could be someone just having that individual brilliance, a bit of magic, and scoring a goal. So once the game is done, we don't really care who or how. But yeah, definitely, we need to improve on that.
So today's game, you had a really good pace with Ryan Kent. How's the chemistry coming along with him?
I mean, it's only getting better the more we play together. He's obviously, he's not a young player that's learning. He has a lot of experience playing in Europe, and you can see that right away from the first game that he stepped on the field for us. He was a difference maker, and it was the same today. He's really good 1v1 and kept causing them trouble down the left-hand side. And I mean, he brings a lot of stuff to the team. So I think as far as the chemistry, not just between me and him, but between him and other guys, is only going to get better.
That's a little bit of a short term, but do you remember when you first came to MLS and how you adjusted to travel here in America?
Yeah, that takes a while. I think you see a lot of players are surprised by that when they come to MLS, and it's not easy. And played in Holland, and the furthest game away was probably 3 hours by bus. That was the furthest game that we would have played. Whereas here, I feel like other than Portland and Vancouver, it's nothing less than 2 hours of a flight. So yeah, I think that's the biggest adjustment for players that come from overseas. Is definitely the flying, and then different conditions, humidity and such and that. But I think Ryan's already played in Colorado, so he got a good taste of altitude. And then
Kansas
we just
City
played
in
in
summertime.
Houston as well, and it's not summer just yet, but it wasn't the nicest conditions to play in either. So he's getting a good real taste of what MLS is like.
Is there anything? Did you bother to say anything about that, or teammates even bother to say anything about what the travel is going to be like? Are there any tips that you can give as a player?
We didn't, I remember going to Colorado. We told him about the altitude. We said, if you make a couple of runs in a warm up and you get out of breath, don't worry, it's normal. It happens to everybody, but. Yeah, other than that, you have to experience yourself to kind of get a taste for it, and I think he's done great. Adjusting.
How much
Yeah,
credit
but-
do you give to Dallas, though? I mean, it seemed like they were at least sandwiching Jesus, and they were at least in some places when he got crosses in there. So.
Yeah, they'll feel like they deserve more, from the game today. They made it really difficult on us. They clogged the middle, and I'm sure they watched how we play and what we want to do. And they gave us the width. Our guys on the touchline like Ryan and Alex could get a lot of the ball, but then they were really tight in the middle, and we struggled to find that kind of the next interior pass to then maybe try and slip someone in. And they made it difficult on us, and we knew that they just came from New York playing Open Cup, and then they, played a lot of minutes there, went to extra time and PKs. Then they had to fly here, so we knew that Fitzy could play a level, but sometimes that can play against you. And when you think a team is wounded or missing someone or just played, you can kind of think, oh, we're just going to win because it's just going to happen. And that wasn't the case today, and they made it hard on us. So we've also played some games this year where we felt like we deserved more and we didn't. And yeah, I mean I understand how they probably.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Thank you.
Albert.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you.